Hey everybody, my name is Sam, and I'm going to be doing a book review on this book here called Compassion and Conviction. It's by Justin Giboney, Michael Ware, and Chris Butler. And they're actually founding members of the AND campaign, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But why in the world am I reviewing this book? I have not done anything like this before. I don't usually post a lot of content on my social media, but this book in particular, in the AND campaign, really got a hold of me this year. And so I wanted to just provide some information and talk about the book a little bit. So my qualifications. So I have zero experience in politics. The last formal class or anything like that I took on politics was back in AP Government senior year of high school, which incidentally is the same year that I became a Christian. And shortly after that was when I was able to vote at the age of 18. So I am a voting member of the United States, so that qualifies me to talk about politics, I think, and I'm a follower of Jesus, and those two things have been in a bit of tension within me since I was 18. So in 2003, that's when I first was eligible to vote, and I registered to vote, went to the DMV, filled out the little card, and I remember staring at the little check boxes, and they're asking, which party do you want to register with? Republican, Democratic, American Independent, Green, all these different ones. And I remember thinking, I don't know. I don't really feel like I belong to any of these. And having just finished an AP government class and having just become a Christian, I had kind of started hearing this implicit message that if you're a Christian, you have to be Republican. If you're a Christian, you're voting Republican. Being liberal or having any kind of liberal leanings, which I had at the time, was like a big no-no. And it kind of made me question, if I don't register Republican, am I even Christian? Or how those two things were weirdly synonymous in my head. And I think they're somewhat synonymous in most people's minds, especially in our current political climate. So I ended up not checking anything, and I haven't been registered with any party since. But since then, that's the first major moment that I had of feeling politically homeless. And I've really felt that even more strongly this year as we're moving into this election season, or in this election season. We're not moving into it, we are in the thick of it. And I've felt that, I think, more than ever, particularly as a believer. So backtracking just a little bit. So what is AND Campaign? So AND Campaign, it's this organization that was started by believers. I believe it was founded in Atlanta. I'll include the link or more information in the caption of this video. But their mission statement is to educate and organize Christians for civic and cultural engagement that results in better representation, more just and compassionate policies, and a healthier political culture. So when I saw that, I don't remember how I stumbled upon AND Campaign. I think someone retweeted or reposted something, and it just caught my attention. Because the main premise, this AND that is in their name, is to show that there's more than this either or way of thinking about politics. We can approach politics from an AND approach, not just one or the other, but moral order and social justice, compassion and conviction. Going even, narrowing it down a little bit more, pro-life and pro-woman. You can be both. And so we can care about both or multiple sets or pieces of an issue. And our allegiance isn't to a political philosophy or a political belief or a political party, but to Christ. So I am going to be talking about this through the lens of a believer. If you're not a believer, I think there's still a lot of value to be mined from this book, especially if you're in that what's been called the exhausted middle, where you're not really feeling part of one side of the spectrum or the other. So this book in particular, so the AND Campaign is the organization, and this year they released this book called Compassion and Conviction, and the subtitle, I think, sums up what this is about. It's the AND Campaign's Guide to Faithful Civic Engagement. So in other words, how do we engage with civics, engage with politics as believers? So why am I doing this review and why now? So I already talked about a little bit that we are in the middle of election season. And I don't think, in my lifetime anyway, I have never seen our nation so polarized. I have never seen Christians in the church so polarized over political issues and over politics. And I feel like I'm in that exhausted middle. I feel homeless, I feel tired, I feel lost, and I don't think I'm alone. And I heard someone say, I think it was Justin Giboney on the Church Politics podcast, mention something about the exhausted middle needs to wake up. You know, the exhausted middle needs an energy boost. And I'm hoping that going through this book will help those of you who are feeling the same way I am to get that little bit of a boost. So the three main reasons that I'm even doing this are to inform you of a resource that's been really helpful to me, and that's the book. To inspire you to join me on this journey of wanting to become a better informed citizen and a better participant in civic engagement, but also to represent Jesus well, not just to allow the loudest stereotypes on both sides. I'm not just talking about the evangelical Republican, but also the evangelical progressive or Democrat. Both sides are representing maybe a part, but they're not the end all be all. And so I want to represent Jesus well, regardless of political leaning, but also being part of politics so that you can see that we can follow Jesus and be engaged in politics. The format of each video, so there are 9 chapters total in the book, so there'll be 10 videos including this one. So there's 9 chapters including a closing exhortation. It'll be about 5 to 7 minutes for each video. I'll give a very brief summary of the main idea, any main takeaways or quotes that I'm pulling from the book or that struck me, you know, whether that's like, oh, that was a good reminder, or a scriptural reference that I hadn't really pieced together with it before, or even just a, whoa, today I learned. And then I want to also take just a tiny bit of time to pray and maybe talk about a call to action that popped out, or just a prayer that we can all kind of join in together as we are moving forward in this journey. If you have any questions, you can definitely leave them in the comments. You can send me a DM. If you have my number, you can text me. Whatever it is, you can send a question or leave one in the comments, and I'll try to answer either by replying to you directly, or I'll try to address them in the Instagram lives that I'll be doing, just a few of them, on Fridays at 6:45 p.m. starting on the 9th, so October 9th. So there won't be one this coming Friday, but on the 9th I'll try to do one, and I'll keep it short. I'm not going to pretend to have all the answers, of course, but I want to be able to start a dialogue and be able to address any questions you might have after this. It's not going to be a super comprehensive review. My hope is that you'll pick up the book yourself and leaf through it, maybe read along with me. And then once you get to the newest video of that chapter, you'll have that background in mind, and mine will just be a little bit of a review. Or if you haven't read the book yet, my little video will help spark an interest or get you ready to read those chapters. I'll also try to leave a question or two in the comments from the book. There is a discussion section at the back with questions, so if someone were to lead a study or something like that, there are questions in there, and I'll put them in the comments as well, maybe 1 or 2 just to get a conversation started. So that's it for my little intro. This will hopefully be the longest video out of all 10. But again, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments, send me a DM or a text, and let's talk. Can't wait to send the rest of these to you guys. Love you, and be blessed.